Right, good morning everybody. Welcome. Sorry we're running a bit late. Just so many of you. It was getting you all in, wasn't it? It was just amazing. I mean, it's a great turnout. I'm looking forward to a great day. My name's John Myers. I work for DeepCrawl. You're going to get a lot of me today. I'm the guy that kind of glues it all together and brings the speakers through, make sure everybody's on time, make sure you get your coffee and your lunch and everything else that goes on with it. And obviously we're going to go on a nice journey. We've got a busy day, a lot of things to get through. And a lot of things to talk about. So obviously, welcome to Benchmark 2017. Third year now. How many people have been 3 times? There's a few of you in there, which is great. Yes, you're all probably sick of me because I've done this 3 times, but it's Matt asked me to come back every year, and I keep coming back, and we always have a great day, so I'm looking forward again to today. And we're going to talk through a lot of stuff. So obviously, a massive shout out to, obviously I mentioned Matt, who's the CEO of Click Consult. If it wasn't for Click Consult, we wouldn't all be here today. Obviously, Click Consult are an agency, but it's not directly about Click Consult today. There's some speakers here from Click Consult. Click Consult puts this on for the industry and drives forward, obviously learning and everything within the industry, in particular, obviously within the Manchester area. So obviously, the other side of that is a big thanks to our sponsors. Our headline sponsors, obviously, Manchester Metropolitan University, 360 International Advertising Unit, and obviously other sponsors for the day, which include obviously DeepCrawl, Digital Agency Network, and Juice, the Juice Academy, and as well, obviously, the drinks reception sponsor, because obviously when you get to the end of the day and we all need to go and do some networking and have a beer together afterwards, and I hope a few of you can join us, obviously Majestic as well have sponsored our drinks this evening as well. So obviously, just a few things, and like always at conferences, it's all about the hashtag and the Wi-Fi code. They come before the fire exits and everything like that. We'll do the health and safety thing later, but the hashtag for today is BenchmarkConf 2017. All your lovely tweets will appear on this wall. Let's all have a bit of a Twitter fight so you can get the most on the screen to my right over here. I'm absolutely certain the speakers are going to have some amazing content and we'll share some amazing things. So let's share it with everybody else and let's see if we can get Benchmark trending in Manchester. For you that haven't got it yet, the most important thing today, because I know how it goes, is obviously the Wi-Fi. So it's Bridgewater with the password BWH in capitals event 14. It's all up in lights above my head. You can't miss the screen today. It's a great setup on that front. So obviously on that front, obviously we'll want you guys to interact a lot with us. Please obviously put your mobile phones on silent. We do appreciate you guys need to maybe do some work at the same time. If you're doing to make calls, please obviously move towards the back and out the room sort of things. So to try and make it a little bit more interactive this year as well, we've, as I say, speakers love questions. I like coming out and getting questions and getting a bit of Q&A going. But for those of you guys who are kind of a little bit, don't want to put the hand up and ask the question, we're going to try something new today. So if everybody would fancy getting their phones out and going to slide.do, Slide.io, we want to kind of take you through and just help you understand exactly what we can do with this. So this is basically an interactive Q&A system. So we're going to try this out, and you'll be able to submit questions via the platform. So if you go over to sli.do, you could basically put in the event code, which is benchmark. So we've put a little poll up there already. So if, I'll give you guys a moment or two just to kind of go to the website. You can basically log in, as say, with the event code benchmark, which should obviously take you through to a screen, which I can then start to see you guys appearing on here, which is wonderful. So you can actually type a question in here. So there's a poll which we've already set up in here, which is why did you decide to join the event today? And there's 4 questions. And I can already see 11 votes, so some of you are already flying on that, so that's brilliant to know. I'll let that kind of tick up a little bit more, 17 votes now, just to get you guys logged in. So the polls there won't be any more polls today, but it was more just to see why you guys are here today, and as I say, I can see it trending. But if there's stuff which speakers ask, and while speakers are talking, please take the opportunity to ask a question via this. Put the question in, I'll see all the questions. I can then obviously talk to the speakers after their talk and give you get you the answers to those questions that you ask. So we're looking to try and make it a little bit more interactive. I'm not seeing too much on there. If anybody's seen me moderate before, I do come out there with a microphone. I will find questions. I enjoy doing that sort of thing. There's a hand up already. Hello. Can't get on the Wi-Fi. The scourge of the conference has started. So it's Bridgewater Hall, or the Bridgewater one, and then it's, I will go backwards again for anybody that didn't get it. That's a tag. There it is. It's too slow. Right, we'll figure that one out. But write that down, take a picture of it. So you've got it, so when we can get you on, we'll get you on there sort of thing. But it's great to see that I've already got 66 votes in here, which is wonderful. Let's see if I can see what's going on. I'm still learning how to use this thing as well, to be honest. I'll let you know afterwards. We'll let that count up for a little bit. And 71% of you are here for knowledge building. So there you go. That's a good start. 10% networking opportunities. 9%. I like the 10%. My boss made me. Come on, it's got to be so. It's a day out of the office to have some fun with us. So great. So everybody's logged into that. So that's wonderful. As I say, without further ado, I just wanted to kind of set some scenes. But obviously, from that point of view, if we do hear any fire alarms or anything like that, there's exits up the stairs. There's an exit at the back. Follow me. I'll be running very quickly. But without further ado, I just want to kind of set the scene a little bit. As I mentioned, my name's John Myers. And I want to give you guys a few things to think about over this morning and then into the afternoon. As I say, we've got some breakout sessions to come, and I just want to give you a quick 5 minutes before we start to get into the speaker lineup. Obviously, today is about the Benchmark Search Conference. It's in its third year now, and we've had a fantastic, couple of years, and we're going to have a fantastic day today together. And obviously, it's everything about digital performance marketing. So we're going to hear from organic search specialists. We're going to hear from paid search specialists. We've got social media getting talked about. We've got data and analytics being talked about, and things like content marketing. So if you're not here for these sorts of subjects, you're in the wrong place, but I'm pretty certain you're here for this sort of thing. So 71% of you want knowledge building. So I'm hoping we can share a few nuggets with you over the next 6 or 7 hours. Obviously, how long have people been in digital marketing? How many people have been in search over 2 years? How many people have been in search over 5 years? 7 years? 10 years? Oh, there's some oldies in the room, isn't there? 15 years? Oh, yes, this is great. Where else can I go? 20 years? Bloody hell, why are you here? God, I don't know, 20 years as well, fella, It's not often you get to 20 years and find that out. But our world is pretty much Google. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the world that is Google. So if you haven't been through the history that was Google and seen what happened with those guys, I thought I'd share a few little points with you. So let's go on a little history from 1997 about how this behemoth was born. So in 1997, Google.com was registered as a domain name. Not many people had domain names back there, so it was probably pretty easy to register it. People have tried to register other Google domains in the past and made maybe a few quid off them kind of thing. In 1998, Google was incorporated. They rent Susan Wojcicki's garage. The original rent was $1,700 for the garage per month. They got use of the hot tub and free reign on the fridge. That actually is true, if you want to know that for a fact. In 1998, at the end of the year, they had 60 million pages in their index, which sounds like a lot, but when you think about it today, they have around 53 billion pages in their index. There's a huge difference in growth of just the open web. And actually, the pages that Google indexes is less than 1% of the total web. So Google is aware of about 130 trillion pages on the open web, and they only choose to index around about 53 billion of them. So they're actually only taking the cream of the cream, you could say, in some respects. So Susan joined Google in 1999 as their marketing manager. I think she was employee number 9 or so. There was a grateful result for her. There was about 300 million good reasons why she joined on the day that they IPO'd. Imagine the day when Larry and Sergey rock up and they kind of knock on your door. And she opens the door, and there's these 2 little geeks stood there with a couple of computers. Can we rent your garage, please? And she closes the door. She goes, no, you're not having it. She probably cried herself to sleep if she'd said no. She said yes, thankfully, and now she is the global CEO of YouTube. She used to run all of the AdWords performance products for Google, so she's done very, very well for herself. Let's just say that. Google is a dog company. First one went to work in 1999, called Yoska. 2000 was a big changing point when AdWords was launched, obviously, and that's when they started to really start gaining some money. 2004, they IPO'd and made $1.67 billion on their IPO and a valuation of $23 billion. The irony wasn't that Yahoo made some money out of their IPO because Yahoo owned 2.7 million shares in Google at the time. They don't own them anymore, and obviously we all know what's happened with Yahoo. Google just continues to go from strength to strength. They rebought the garage in 2006 because it started to become like an Elvis Graceland moment. People would turn up and go to the garage because that's where Google started. Anne, who was Susan's sister, married Sergey. Anne, who was Susan's sister, divorced Sergey in 2015, but I think she was better to the tune of about $4 billion in big scene. Google started to step into the phone world. So it's just amazing all these things that went on from Google. They bought Motorola, they resold it to Lenovo in 2014, but we always think of Google as a search business. There's an incredible amount of things that goes on within the behemoth that is Google. Obviously, the mapping thing really kicked off in 2013 when they bought Waze as a mapping technology. Google employs now around about 57,000 people globally, which is stunning. It's a huge company, and people might think that's a lot of people for the size of the company, but actually it's incredibly efficient compared to other big companies with 133 billion of valuation, which is nuts, considering in 1999 they had no revenue and somebody had put 100 grand on the table for them to get going. So they've come an amazingly long way as a business, and we've kind of journeyed with them, and we probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Google. So let's think about some numbers. Every day, 16% of searches on Google have never been seen before, which I still think is amazing. If you search for a SKU, and do try it if you want to, if you search for a SKU in Google, it'll return results that are slightly wonky. That's just a stupid fact, but it's fact if you try it. Google intends to scan all 129 million unique books in the world by 2020. Every minute, so on the time that I've been stood here for about the last 10 minutes, 20 million searches have been performed on Google, which is just unbelievable. The numbers are just phenomenal. Google's first computer storage was made out of Lego, just for some reason. In 2013, Google was down for 5 minutes. Internet traffic globally dropped by 40%. That's nuts. Imagine the advertising dollars they missed out on in that 5-minute slot. A single Google search requires more computing power than Apollo 11 got to the moon. Crazy people that got in rockets in the 60s. And obviously, if you didn't know, Google Maps calculates traffic by actually your phone. So they are actually tracking your Android phone. So if it's in your pocket and you sat in your car stationary, there's traffic, according to Google. 2 trillion searches a year. That's about 270 for every single person in the world. And each year, Google receives more than 2 million job applications. So they've got 57,000 employees. 2 million people a year apply to work for Google. Anybody apply to work for Google in the room? Anybody work for Google in the room? There's one at the back applied. You look quite happy. Did you get in? No. How many interviews? 2. You did quite well. Jeff Bezos of Amazon was an early investor in Google, $250,000. It's now worth about $2.2 billion to him today. I don't think he needs the money, but it was a pretty firm investment. So that's just some facts about the world that we live in. Obviously, today we've got some amazing speakers for you. Got an amazing lineup. Obviously, our first speaker will be up very, very shortly. There's a lot of great content. There's a lot of different types of speakers, so I'm sure you guys are going to learn a lot along the way. I think, though, for me, the key to all of this, I mean, I've been conferencing for a long, long time now, and the key for me in this process, it's all about you. And what I mean by that is take advantage of the day. Don't be scared to speak to speakers. Speakers love to talk to people. So if you see a speaker in having a coffee afterwards, go and talk to them. They'll want to talk to you. Go and challenge them on something they said. Maybe they're wrong, if you think you've got an opinion. But actually speak to speakers. Guys like, the guys love that. Network hard is a big thing as well. Talk to each other. It's really important to actually share some knowledge between you guys as well, and obviously we want to educate you along the way. But today very much is about you, so to really take advantage of that opportunity to network, I truly believe in that.